ist Michael Adams von Stock-Telegraph TV. Ich bin heute in Vancouver und bei mir ist Chris Anderson. Er ist Präsident und CEO von Ximen Mining. Ximen Mining hat ja in den letzten Monaten sehr viel Aufmerksamkeit sowohl in Kanada als auch in Deutschland erfahren. Und ich wollte die Gelegenheit nutzen, heute mal persönlich mit Chris zu sprechen und vielleicht die ein oder andere Information rauszukitzeln. So Chris, thanks for taking the time to talk to me and fill me up on Ximen and the latest developments. So as you probably know, there was a lot of attention coming into the stock on the Canadian side, but also on the German side. And a couple of developments have been made, positive developments over the last couple of weeks. So, but to start, can you give me like the background, how Ximen came together? What was this plan, the strategy?
Sure, absolutely, Michael, and thanks for having me on. Yeah, as you know, the resource sector has not been favorable over the last couple of years,
right.
And we're in the mining business. And so when we were looking at opportunities in the mining space, we decided to focus in a friendly jurisdiction, which is Canada, where we have a mining-friendly territory here in BC. As a matter of fact, our Premier is very much in support of developing mining assets in British Columbia. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to capitalize on some of the human capital that we have around us. So Ximen is really built with a group of mining engineers that are an integral part of the company. And what we wanted to do was target assets that we could actually advance from an exploration point of view, but could they be expedited into a production scenario? And so that's what our focus was on. So we started off in early 2013 looking at projects, and our lead geologist that was helping us in bringing projects forward was a lady named Linda Caron. Linda Caron's a very well experienced and very well respected geologist. You know, the department uses her 43-1 as a template as to what you should use for 43-101.
Okay. Wow.
And so a couple other gentlemen that were involved, they're senior in age, that have been friends of mine and mentors to me in the business for a while, is Al Beaton and Alex McPherson. And they're mining engineers that have worked on over 50 different contracts here in southern British Columbia and around the world.
Okay.
Al Beaton ran the Erickson gold mine. It was one of the most profitable gold mines here in BC in the 80s. So we started looking at projects, and Linda introduced us to a project called the Gold Drop,
right,
which is not too far from Kinross's Buckhorn facility, which is just across the state line.
Okay.
What was attractive about the Gold Drop property that was brought forward was that from a mining perspective, not only did it look like there could be short-term bulk samples produced from the property, it had a history of being off the shelf. So in other words, since the 1980s, it's not seen any modern geology.
Okay.
The gentleman that owned it was a gentleman named Ed Brown, and Ed had just been basically high grading it, pulling 3 and 4 ounce material out of the ground, had a small ball mill on the site. He's friends within the mining community and had scooped this property for his own personal production.
Okay.
The center of the property had a producing mine called the Dentonia. And the Dentonia was actually the head frame, and all the underground development was done by our guy, Alex McPherson.
Okay.
So we knew the property very well, and Linda lives in Grand Forks, which is fairly close to that property. And it showed the kind of potential for bulk sample mining, and also with a mill in the area, you know, a shot for us to, the 43-101 that she did produce was, shows that, you know, we don't need to have a mill on site.
Okay.
So that's where we wanted to start with, was something that we could manage ourselves with our own crew. Al and Alex have their own shop. They're fully equipped. They have all their own equipment and everything right there in Greenwood.
Okay.
So we were looking at a little cash flow scenario. So I said to them in early 2013, if you can prove that we can pull some cash out of here and make this a production scenario, we'd be interested in doing something with it. We have a vehicle, and we're looking for a cash flow opportunity.
Right. So Ximen before that was a shell.
Was a shell,
okay.
Yeah. And so they worked on it on their dime through 2013, and in early October, Linda, they targeted one vein, and they went after that, and they pulled out, Linda, I think samples came back like 2 ounces per ton gold.
That's not bad, huh?
Yeah, not bad at all. Low sulfide. There's several vein structures there, because when Ed was mining it in the groups before, they just anything that was under 2 ounces, they just left, right? So for us, equipment, mining crew that's there, the assets, you know, open at surface, and they identified areas that we could go in and dig some bulk samples. Kinross's mill is right across the state line. They need feed. They're running out of feed. and they're looking for opportunities within the district. So this was a perfect storm for us.
Okay.
But what really happened, what was really exciting, what's really propelled Ximen forward, is that group of senior mining engineers and geologists, and Linda's also a PNG geologist as well. They started talking about another project that's been in southern BC. It was one of the first epithermal discoveries ever made in southern BC before they really had a grasp on what epithermal was about.
And that's the Brett project.
And that's the Brett project.
Okay.
So they said to me as we were going through and the team was gelling, they said, Chris, if you can get your hands on this asset, we got it. This is from a mining perspective, we think this is a gold mine waiting to be happened. And you know, that asset was, I don't know if you remember a mine called Hemlo, and it was a big Canadian gold discovery. But there was a company called Corona, and when they had Hemlo, they also kept this property. So it's gone through quite a bit of controversy over the years. It's been very high grade. It was tied up in the courts, fractional ownership, some little bit of fighting around it. Whenever you get something that's really good, you know, you get a lot of. Yeah. So it for the last 10 years, basically, it's been split in ownership between two juniors. Neither one of them wanting to sell. It's seen about $750,000 worth of work on it. But I mean, they were pulling out numbers there with 55 feet of 1 ounce material. This is a big system. You know, several kilometers long, hundreds of meters wide. Epithermal, which is, you know, got potential for large deposits. The Republic, which is just across the state line, is, you know, that district there was a 3 million ounce target area. And that's kind of how we view the Brett. The Brett doesn't come without work being done on it. I mean, there's been 14,000 meters of diamond drilling on it, 3,000 meters of RC drilling on it. It's had a couple bulk samples done on it. The last bulk sample that was...
You have all this historical data?
Well, let me tell you about that, okay? The last bulk sample that was done on that property, they, away from the main shear zone where all the drilling was done, they took a backhoe in and just from surface took the ore out and shipped it to Kinross. And they, you know, it was over an ounce and they got 0.8. And Kinross is, I mean, not to Kinross, I apologize, to Teck Kaminko's trail mill. And that's not a gold producing mill. And they were getting 0.8 of an ounce, right? So really good numbers. There's hardly any sulfides. It's just high grade nuggety material. And it's in a great area there. I mean, we've got good infrastructure and stuff. So all of that data and everything was done basically up till 2004, and everything stopped, and that's when we had fractional ownership, right? When we got involved, we managed to get the project into Ximen. There was a convoluted NSR that we managed to negotiate and buy out, and we got terms on that as well. And now we've signed a couple of CAs with some very serious groups, And so what we decided to do as in early January of this year, we put together a brain trust to see about advancing this asset. And I said, okay, let's take 4 months and we'll put all the right people around the table and decide what we're going to do, what do you want to do, and where do we want to start first. First thing we wanted to do, to go back to your question, was gather all the old data that was done. So because this had not been looked at and understood from a proper perspective of what this epithermal system was, that's where we wanted to start. So Linda, Corona, myself, and everybody else, we started gathering all the data, and we spent a couple of months meeting with all the geologists, picking up all the old reports and everything, bringing it all together. And then we wanted to find a group to help us compile that GIS material and come up with a model. So fortunately, we came up with a gentleman named John May. John has been with Kinross at the Buckhorn facility just across the state line for 30 some odd years. He's worked in that district. So him and Linda got together and he started doing all our modeling. We've just completed all that data.
So the whole team actually has experience in this area?
In that district, and not only in that, in epithermal type systems. So John has just completed that, and there's going to be a lot of information coming forward on that material. Right now it's being reviewed on a couple of serious groups that have signed some CAs with us. So we'll be putting out some material about that shortly. The other thing that we've done is we've just had another gentleman join our team, and that's Dr. Mike Rasmussen.
That was the news release from yesterday.
From yesterday, yeah, correct. And Mike has he's responsible, if you read the news release, for finding a couple of the assets that Kinross currently has across the state line. but he's a specialist in epithermal, and he's been a master at unlocking those puzzles. I was up on the property with Mike about a week ago.
Okay.
And we were looking, and you know, we put news out today about a couple new discoveries we made. There's a lot of potential here. This property has got a lot to yet to be unlocked.
Okay.
All the work and all the excitement to date is minor in comparison to what the potential is, according to what seems to be coming forward. Okay. And I think Mike put a quote in the news release about what he thinks going forward. So where we are with both of these projects, Gold Drop, we've got a team we've started working on there. We're targeting 3 2,500-ton bulk samples with half-ounce material.
Okay.
We're aiming to get that, you know, August, September this year, and we're looking to ship that to Kinross or one of the local mills in the area. We have all the equipment and the guys there and the experience to know how to do that. And Alex McPherson, who's working with us, did all the original head frame and underground development in the mine that's sitting in the center of that and property. And so we're situated there, and that could generate some significant cash.
Okay.
The secondary objective for that property is to look at the overall structure, because it hasn't been looked at from a structural point of view and hasn't been drill tested properly to see how could we expand and build a resource there. That was the original asset in the company. It's kind of got overshadowed by the Brett, but it's still a very significant asset, and I think it deserves some attention here in this video. That's why I'm talking about it.
But the core asset is the Brett.
Is the Brett?
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Brett, now we've got our permits in place, and we've got, I think, targeting 32 drill holes, and we've got 20 pads. There's quite a bit of news coming.
So how many meters are the drill program, which is planned?
The drill holes, we can go to whatever depth we want. Okay. It's the number of holes it's the surface disturbance that's the key. So we're looking between 2,000 to 5,000 meters. Okay.
Okay.
What we're interested in doing is getting the right. We want to get all the data together, which we did. They've made some decisions on how they wanted to advance the project to choose the drill targets, and I know that they have confirmed some targets they want to drill. Okay. But I mean, yeah, some of the historic drilling on the main shear zone, when you got 55 feet of 1 ounce material. I mean, this property produces some pretty significant results. Yeah. So we're in about a month or say 6 weeks from now, they should have a good idea on all the holes that they want to go to. And then we should look at doing a program in the latter part of the summer, the end of July, early August, right? And that's what we're planning on doing with the Brett.
Okay. There was also a news release talking about that you were trying to acquire a mill, which fits into the whole strategy of consolidating the area.
Sure.
So is there any updates on this? I think you started this due diligence process. Yeah. But the target or the potential target company is called Haldra Silver. They had some problems in the past, but it seems to be a good fit from my point of view. It seems to be a good fit to the strategy of Ximen. But maybe you give us an update on this. And there's also, because there has been some attention in the German markets on Ximen, there are some, I would call rumors, that you depend, that this is the only thing which can make Ximen happen. Yeah, that's at least the rumor. Maybe you can comment on this.
Did you start that rumor, Michael?
No, I didn't. But if there's something, and I don't imagine this. I know you for quite some years. I always know that you have kind of a backup plan. Yeah. So maybe fill us in on this. Yeah,
I think Haldra was maybe the backup plan.
Oh, okay.
We've got other plans, but in that district there's several mill opportunities. The best opportunity for us that we were looking at from a state-of-the-art, world-class mill was Kinross's Buckhorn facility across the state line, and they're running they've got about 16 months worth of feed, and they're looking for feed opportunities there. Gold Drop was the scenario that we originally started, and the Gold Drop asset itself is actually closer to Kinross's facility than where they're currently trucking ore in from. Okay. Right? So that was originally where we started from. And then the mining group that's involved with us, from Alex, Linda, the crew at Buckhorn facility, everybody's familiar with the Brett project. Okay. And it's been looked at several times, and attempts have been made by several different significant groups to acquire this asset. It really did take, the market timing for Ximen was perfect, and the stress level and people wanting to cooperate was the timing was just perfect, just in December that we just lucked out really. As far as the mill goes, that was one of our first choice was the Kinross facility.
Okay.
Now Al Beaton that's working with us is the mine manager at Halder Silver.
He made the connection.
He's very familiar, and I've been knowing with Al, and I've been in the district, and I've known about Halder for a long time.
Okay.
And I've been there myself since 2006. Been active in the area, and Ximen has acquired a significant land position directly adjacent to Halder, because from an early stage exploration point of view, the development of that story. They went at it very fast. They spent a lot of money in there, and they got permits and everything, which was great. But the whole district really needed to be assembled.
Right.
And from our perspective, we have a little bit of knowledge in there, and because we're building a mining company in southern BC that's focused on precious metals, this seems sort of like a logical step. Now, Ximen controls a significant land package there. It's not material to us. We didn't really announce it or talk about it. We were doing our due diligence. We were doing a financing with GMP Securities that we're in the middle of. So we had to announce that we were in talks with Halder to let the market know that we were looking at the mill facility.
Okay.
And it sort of got a little excitement and got carried in front of the market a little bit. Yeah. And it is a great opportunity. However, Ximen has got 14 million shares out. We got in my opinion, a world-class asset in the Brett, and all the synergies have to come together, and the pricing for any acquisitions that we do has to be appropriate. We're not going to disrupt our capital structure to acquire, a mill
especially if there are alternatives. Right?
There is alternatives. There is another mill in this district that we're taking some looks at, and there's lots of opportunities
does that mean
there.
You already started due diligence on the second mill, or is it just like
we're looking at all?
talks?
We're looking at all our opportunities. I mean, we just want to keep an open book.
Okay.
Part of the reason why we're looking at a mill, which this is an important thing, is it because our mining team thinks that the Brett could be in production fairly quickly.
Can you specify fairly quickly?
Well, in the mining world, instead of going on an 8-10 year window, maybe a couple of years in the exploration and development side, and then third year, fourth year into starting into a mining scenario. Okay. Right now, all of that depends on permitting and all the stars aligning. But if you look at Ximen, our company has just been bang, 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 bang. We seem to be a little bit lucky, right? Like our address, 888 Dunsmuir, Suite 888, right? So
that's Chinese, right?
Yeah.
So the 8 is a lucky number for the Chinese.
And our timing to acquire these assets, and the timing on bringing the caliber of people that we've got on board. Yeah. Like Michael, I've been in this business for a while. I've been involved in a couple projects that have been successful. Yeah. This asset and what we've got going on here in Ximen with a fantastic share structure, and we've taken out all our warrants. There's no overhang in the
There was a forced exercise, right?
On all of our financings. Yeah. And we did that because if you want to be an owner of this deal, you have to own the stock. You have to believe in the story and own the stock. If you want to sell, go ahead and sell. You want to get out of the story, get out of the story, right?
And there was some selling in the last couple of weeks. As you know, the stock went, I think it reached a high of 138, and now we're trading around the 90 cent level, right?
Yeah.
So
we were dealing with some lawyers. We got delayed in a little bit of our paperwork on the financing side.
Right, yeah.
We had a 25-cent financing coming out, and we so some of that paper came out. We absorbed it,
which is understandable. If somebody invested at 25 cents and he could sell for
four
$1,
times their money,
right?
and so they did very well. We got some.
But you think you are through this? Like most of this outcoming paper is now
absorbed, what's going on with the stock now?
It's up today.
Yeah, and it was up yesterday, right? So we just wanted to let the market do what it was doing, get everything done. We were also building our presence on not only in the European markets, and it was important to us to have German shareholders involved because we know that there's a lot of believers in the gold market.
Definitely.
And a couple of our key shareholders, Eric Sprott, personally invested in Ximen, and he's a world expert.
With his personal money, not
personal
with his
money, for not through his funds.
Can you say what percentage he bought in?
Well,
and what price level for
he's been participating all along.
Okay.
So and he, under 10%, right? Okay. And then another gentleman that's involved with us and active with the company is a gentleman named Ian Gordon.
Okay.
And he speaks on the on the circuit, the world circuit, and he's publishes a thing called the Long Wave Analytics, and very well respected gentleman. He's also in that under 10% range, right? So these are believers in the precious metal space, right? And we're in unprecedented times. I mean, the amount of fiat currencies being printed around the world is.
I totally agree, and I think most of my viewers, at least, or my readers, they're on the same page.
So we understand what, that Germany's gone through a few phases where, it's important to own gold. Yeah. We wanted to move into a scenario where not only we could find a great asset, but can we expedite on that asset? So we've got the team that can identify a great asset, expedite on the asset. Not only that, Al and Alex, they own their own shop and got all their own equipment, so they've got access to everything. Originally, we were looking at doing a shares for services agreement, just to be able to do production. We wanted, we didn't think we could go to the capital markets raising money. Things have changed now. We've sort of become a little bit of a spotlight in the venture market, right? With most of the juniors trading under a dime, but we're
and especially because of the stock price development, it was like from 10 cents up to 138 in a couple of months. That's like in this market, that's outstanding.
You know what happened? I'll tell you, the mining community in southern BC who knew about the Brett asset, we didn't even have a website up.
You still don't have one. That's one of the criticisms I have on the company.
Well, if you think I need to put a website up to make our stock go up, we'll do it. But
no, it's not. But it's to inform the shareholder. So my advice would be do it, but it's up to you, of course.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I've been busy working on the asset. Okay,
which is way more important. You're right. That's way more important.
We'll get that. But what had happened is that the mining community basically in BC got an understanding that we had now not only gotten a hold of the Brett project 100% and moved it in and unlocked some of the convoluted scenarios that were around it.
Right.
And that the guys that were involved with us, Al and Alex, they did the original work on there. They did the added on there. They have an intimate understanding of this asset, both of our assets, right? So, and then we've had some pretty serious players come walking through our door here, wanting to sign CAs with us, and we have signed a couple CAs. And so we might have some very serious partners moving down the road. And we'll just see how all that
You were just about to mention the names of the big companies. What was it?
I was not going to mention that because
I had to try. Sorry.
Yeah. But look at the talent that we've attracted. They've got world-class asset experience.
No, I totally agree. So I think it's a great story. The attention it got in the market so far, you deserve it. I think there's a big potential, especially, and that was new information for me, that there's like an alternative to this deal with Hydra, because again the rumor was that you're depending on it. So for me and also for my viewers, that's essential information that this is not the case. So I think that was pretty good information, fresh information, and I hope to catch up with you maybe over the next couple of weeks.
Can I just fill in one thing? I don't mean to interrupt.
I don't know. Yeah, you can.
Yeah. If you go back and you look at our news releases and look at our stock price, before we even talked about Haldra, we were up there. I mean, the announcement of the deal didn't even impact us anything. I mean, it's not what the stump company was built on, right?
No, I totally understand it. So
I think it's important that you share that information out there to the marketplace.
No, I totally. No, I think I get it, and
we'll put it on our website.
Yeah, you should. Maybe just to finish up, the pronunciation of the company is Ximen. That's how you pronounce it.
That's correct.
A lot of the German investors, especially, they call it Ximen. So is there a meaning of this name, or how did you come up with it?
Xerox did a study and they found that most successful companies have an X in it. I mean, X marks the spot anyways, right, when you're looking for gold. But so anyways, Xerox did a study, and most successful companies have an X in it. That's why Xerox has two X. The stock went up, didn't it? You had to bring that up, didn't you?
I had to.
Yeah. Okay. So so we wanted to have a name with an X in it.
Right.
And so that's how we came up with Ximen.
Because it sounds a little bit like it's Chinese.
Yeah,
at least to a European, it sounds like it's Chinese.
It does, and the address 888 Dunsmuir Suite 888 is lucky in Chinese, and there is a city called Ximen in China, or Ximen, or whatever it's called, right? But this, we liked the name. It was strong and gave a good presence to us, and it has got the X in the component there that we wanted to have. And it's X-Men. You know, we're out there. We're men. We're working, and X marks the spot. So I think it's a good name. Yeah. Obviously,
Perfect.
I'm right. I mean,
Stock is good trading.
you agree it's a good name, right?
I agree. It's just
Yeah.
the pronunciation, especially for Germans, is strange.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, most
okay.
of them say it's Ximen
Right.
because this is it's not Ximen.
Yeah.
It would be X-Imen, then it's something else. But
I see. Okay.
But anyways, so,
Well, at least now everybody understands the
at the
name.
end, if the stock goes up, who cares how we pronounce it?
Right.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Thanks, Michael.